If you guys are fed up of playing against titans with unlimited barricades, unlimited shoot through shields, and are looking for a hard counter, this is the build that completely breaks them. It doesn't matter if they're running Arc Titan, Void Titan, Citans, Storm Grenade, Overshield. This unlimited tripmine build will absolutely suffocate any team composition you play against. The other team won't be able to move 2 steps without triggering a tripmine that does over 150 damage on explosion and then further 7 tick damage, which will get them to minuscule health every time and prevent them from healing. The tick damage also gives positional information about where the enemy is through walls. The tripmine is insane for holding down revives, and sometimes you forget about your own tripmine and it kills a random person in the middle of the round. It's absolutely bonkers. And guess what? With the right aspects and fragment setup, we actually get back 66% of our tripmine energy when we damage an enemy with tripmines. Just look at the amount of pressure I'm putting on multiple opponents here with these back-to-back tripmines. And with the right mod setup, yes, you can literally throw them back-to-back to win a round. Remember to give the video a thumbs up if you found any of what I talked about useful. Dim link for the build will be in the Discord, link for which will be in the comments or description below. At the heart of this build is young Ahamkara's spine, the hunter exotic gloves which have been around for some time. These actually give a ton of benefits that aren't even displayed on its description, and some of which I didn't even know about till I started making this video. Let's go through them all. It makes the explosion have 14% more damage. It makes the explosion have a much greater cone which it can hit people with. 14 meters length and width is ridiculous, trust me. It catches so many people out that even know about the tripmine in the back of their heads. The explosions no longer deal self damage as well, so that's a huge plus, and you can throw them around willy-nilly without worrying about killing yourself. The tripmines also become much more durable. They gain 100 health now, and they have 50% damage resist. They literally are like a 10 resilience guardian, only they're really hard to hit because they're tiny, so enemies literally have to spend several seconds destroying them, and in that time you can reposition or even push them aggressively. Our grenades also get fastball, so you can yeet them across the map and you don't need that mod on your gloves. It also lets solar ability damage recharge 33% of your tripmine grenade energy, and with Ember of Ashes, this makes it count as double ability damage for your tripmine grenade and lets you recharge double, yes 66% of your grenade energy with one explosion. The tripmine doesn't even have to kill the enemy for the grenade recharge to kick in, the grenade just needs to damage them. Our Solar 3.0 build here is going to be absolutely key to making these grenades as lethal as possible and let you spam them as fast as possible. I run Blade Barrage as it has a much shorter cooldown than Golden Gun, so it's really useful in trials to get this super before your enemies. This is personal preference. I just run Gambler's Dodge because it's a bit more evasive than Marksman's Dodge, but if you want to spam more dodges, and I'll explain later in the mod section why this is going to be important to get your grenade energy back, then you should run Marksman's Dodge instead, as it has a shorter cooldown. Strafe Jump, Proximity Throwing Knife, which adds another explosive the enemy needs to take care of, and in combination with Tripmine can destroy opponents in one combo, and then obviously Tripmine grenades. For my aspects, I run On Your Mark, which gives a whopping 3 fragment slots and a ton of handling when you dodge. It's honestly like Dragon Shadow, just built into an aspect. Then Knock him down so that Blade Barrage becomes even more deadly, and it's just a better aspect than Gunpowder Gamble in PvP. For my fragments, the most important to run here is Ember of Ashes, which not only applies more Scorch stacks to enemies, but also doubles Tripmine regeneration as I mentioned before. Ember of Char for the 10 discipline boost for the build, and if we ignite an enemy with a throwing knife and Tripmine combination, then they spread even further Scorch. Ember of Blistering so solar ignitions grant even more grenade energy. Ember of Eruption so that our ignitions have a bigger area of impact. And finally Ember of Beam so that our Blade Barrage has tracking. For your stat distribution, you want 100 discipline as your #1 priority here to minimize grenade cooldown. Then number 2, I actually went for 100 mobility so that we can dodge more often and get our grenade energy back, which I'll explain in a second in our mod section. In close third is 100 recovery so that we can get back into the fight as quickly as possible. Then intellect, resilience, and strength in that order. For our mods, there are 2 key mods here. The first is Grenade Kickstart, which can be found on your gauntlet, so in this case your exotic gauntlets, young Ahamkaras. Just make sure they're stasis and not any other element. One of these will give back 6% grenade energy for just throwing your grenade. If you're able to stack 2 of these, then it gives back 12.5% grenade energy, which is more than double. These are one of the only mods that don't have diminishing returns, but instead amplify on stacking them. But in my case, I just couldn't take off my sniper dexterity mod, sadly. The second important mod here is Bomber on your solar cloak, which gives back 8% grenade energy with 2 of them. There is an argument to run 1 bomber and 1 distribution, as distribution gives back a huge chunk of energy, not only to your grenade but all your other abilities if you dodge within 50 meters of an enemy. And double bomber or double distribution both have diminishing returns, so running 1 of each can be beneficial. For the rest of my mods, I'm running Powerful Friends, Radiant Light for the stat boost, and then the relevant targeting and dexterity mods. So there you have it, a juiced up young Ahamkara's build that will decimate any triple Titan team. The one thing I haven't mentioned is that this build only becomes more and more powerful the more people that use it in your fire team. Honestly, if you haven't ran 3 of these in a fire team yet against some Titans, they won't know what hit them. If you liked what I talked about today, remember to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more upcoming D2, PvP and PvE builds as we head into 2023 and obviously Lightfall. I'm Mr. Onnit, and that's it for today. Peace out, guys.